a prominent artist we know out of the group Migos, Quavo. Quavo actually he's now an advocate against gun violence. And this is after what we know his nephew, Takeoff, who was shot dead about last November. And so just recently, right? We know we've seen over and over the talk about gun violence. We've seen that a lot of our leaders don't want to talk about it, don't want to do anything to change it, are actually making gun laws a little bit more lenient instead of actually honing in and making it harder for people to get and obtain guns. Well, as reported by the AP, the trauma the rapper Quavo suffered after witnessing his nephew Takeoff being gunned down last year is a disturbing sight, as we all seen on social media. And he doesn't want anybody else to experience it. Through his pain, Quavo found his purpose now as a vocal advocate against gun violence. He met privately with some powerful political figures, including Vice President Kamala Harris, then later spoke on a panel that day about combating the issue during the Congressional Black Caucus Legislative Conference in Washington on Wednesday. The Grammy-nominated rapper said Takeoff's untimely death in 2022 ultimately convinced him to start speaking up. He said, quote, "I feel like your calling comes at the least expected times." And this is what we're seeing now. Police say that Takeoff was an innocent bystander who was shot outside a Houston bowling alley after a disagreement over a lucrative dice game that led to gunfire. And again, this was back in November. This came following the death of Nipsey Hussle, Pop Smoke, PNB Rock, and Young Dolph. And that's just to name a few. And so now a lot of the music that we do here when it comes to Migos, particularly Quavo, on their one song on their album Infinity Links, which was what they just dropped right before Takeoff's death, and that was Takeoff and Quavo. They dropped Infinity Links, and I love that album. I told you I like to get beautiful to violent music. I do hear in the
so ratchet, girl.
They'll talk about having that thing.
This is Minnesota's first time getting introduced to you.
I know, right, man? And we giving real Atlanta vibes. We giving heavy Atlanta vibes, right?
God, I'm just saying, like, they keep that. They'll talk about keeping that thing on them, pulling up, making people get quiet when they pull up. People won't, and I listen to that. I know the lyrics. There's one particular song called "Come See About Me," and I like to listen to that song in particular, and I just like it. But he says that, like, "Come see about me," like, "Come see about me. We're gonna show you what's up." And even in one of the music videos right before Takeoff's death, his murder, they have guns. They're promoting guns. So it's interesting to see how, when it comes at your front door, now you become an advocate, an activist for that thing, right? Gun rights here for Quavo. But let's take a listen on this conversation with Kamala Harris here.
We're here. Long little ride. Mama?
You brought the family?
Yep, I came with Mama.
Welcome. Come on in. Come in. I know that. I'm so sorry.
I want this to change. I want my nephew life to mean a lot to a lot of people around the world, and most definitely the culture. Especially us screaming the culture, us coming from the culture, us having a culture album, and changing the game from style to swag to jury. Now we're gonna change it from guns into laws, trying to clean it up, and I feel like I can do that. I can help that.
We got a long road. And the thing is, I just pray to God that I be here to see some of the work that we're trying to do in process.
It takes a lot of strength to do that. Because I am sure there have been days you just didn't want to get out of bed. And to then be able to get out of bed and to do this work and the advocacy you're doing, that takes a lot of courage.
Yes, ma'am. My favorite superhero is Batman. He lost his parents growing up, so I feel like him trying to change the world and him trying to, just use some type of energy from this pain, because I never even really talked about it. I never been to a
Yep. So
therapist or
even listening to him, like him saying that he's never really had a conversation about it, he's never had a therapist or sat down, but his way of coping and getting to this is going into having stepping up and
Yeah.
advocating for gun rights, gun laws. Because I think as a rapper as well, not only having his nephew taken away from him, and that is 1/3 of the group Migos,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
and having him taken away from him just after dropping a really great album, Infinity Links. That's talking about, like he said, it's far greater than the Cuban, right? We stick together forever. They had that kind of bond as uncle and nephew, but
Yeah.
as brothers, and witnessing him just in a game of dice, getting shot down, getting
Oh,
murdered. And before that, we've seen other rappers the same way just get gunned down. So advocating for me, I wonder what that looks like in his lyrics, because even in a song that he dropped, he talked a little bit about violence, and I don't see him changing that up. But even I was on Leftist Mafia, and there was we had a guest on there named Zed, and he is a
Jelano?
guy that
I'm sorry. Go
takes
ahead.
the week's news. I don't know if you know him, Ben or Bubba. He takes the week's news and he raps about it. And
Oh,
Okay.
and yeah. And so he was on there, and he was saying how, like, the difference between an artist, they can rap about something, but nowadays people are starting to take them as like the Bible. Like
Hmm.
they're gonna go out and do those things. It's no longer an artistry. It's kind of like it's moved out of that. But do
yeah.
you think here, and this question is for both of you guys, do you think here that he would have to change up how he raps because he is standing up for gun laws, or wanting to change gun laws and becoming an advocate for that?
Um, I go first, man. I honestly think no, he wouldn't have to change up his style. I've been a Migos fan, my gosh, before they went mainstream, when they
Mm.
was talking about the North Side, and because it was just like,
Mm-hmm.
man, I just
Henrietta boys.
remember like going ham, like love them
Mariachis.
boys, man.
Mhm.
Right? Yeah, like a
Mhm.
Fright Night. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? It was so. I really don't think they'll have to, because we've seen. I know I've seen Quavo and Offset do some stuff where they haven't changed up their styles. If anything, that they eliminated some of the gun talk stuff. I know
Mhm.
that's happened a good bit, and I'm glad that it has. Where a lot of their rap lyrics now, they have eliminated that. Of course, they're still going to talk about the money, the sex, and the cars, and that's cool. But I really think that they wouldn't have to change up their style to speak out against gun safety. I mean, let's be honest, it's something that needs to happen, and I hope more artists come forward advocating for that. You know what I'm saying? Because it needs to happen.
Mm.
It should have happened a long time ago. It's too many people out here getting shot and killed for no
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. Do they have to change up their lyrics? That's a tough question, because I get it. I like a little bit of violence in my music too. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I don't. There's a whole lot of stuff that I like that I don't share publicly because it ain't everybody's business. I like watching fight videos. There you go. I shared it. But the truth of the matter is that there's only going to be so much change if they don't collectively try to change the violence across hip hop. Like Migos was a phenomenon, and I think they have enough juice now to push this. But without changing the lyrics, I'm just looking at I'm on a website, I'm on Wikipedia for how many hip hop artists have been killed. And you just see a drastic change, y'all. Like it used to be one a year, one every other year, but then somewhere around 2010, it started happening multiple times a year. 2013, multiple times, 15, 18. I mean, every year it increased. And so I really, we got to connect the dots. Yes, what we're rapping about is creating a generation that has no regard for life whatsoever. And we see an uptick in how many hip hop artists are being killed before they even get famous. Used to be you get killed because you were famous. Now, if you're trying to come up as a hip hop star, you stand a good chance of being killed. And every single year, we're seeing 5 or 6, 7, 8 rappers get killed. So I think they are going to have to not just change their own lyrics, but they need to lead a movement inside of hip hop to change it. And good luck with that, because that's something people have been trying to do for 50 years, to be honest with you.
For
Yeah,
years.
this year is
Absolutely.
the anniversary of the 50th year of hip hop, and but we've seen one of the most prominent beefs that led to the murder of two of our favorite, you know, rappers, Tupac and Biggie.
Yeah,
We've seen that what that beef has led to, and we've seen a lot of threats and things like that happen. But now, like you said, Ben, it's becoming more and more prominent. It's too often that we're seeing the rappers get gunned down for whatever reason. And so I think that a lot of them, I've heard Meek Mill speak out about possibly removing some lyrics and starting to advocate, especially this is the one I believe when Takeoff was shot down,
uh-huh.
a lot of the rappers started coming out online and saying maybe we should, because if this isn't stopping, maybe we should stop promoting it in our music
That's
or
right.
figuring out ways. So they were trying to find ways too. Some of them are saying, yeah, I can rap about this because this was a life that I have lived.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is something that I have lived. But at the same time, like we used to know the difference. Just because the song is rapping about this, I'm not gonna go wanna
And do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And even emo songs can get a little crazy, but some people just need that song in the moment to listen to or just vibe to. But you know, now people are taking it very, very literally, the lyrics literally, a lot of that, and it does not help. Right. I think what Quavo is doing is a good thing because it doesn't help when our politicians and our state leaders, our national leaders are not taking it seriously. Time and time again, we're seeing these loose gun laws bring
Mm-hmm.
guns easier into the hands of so many people. So if they're
Yeah.
listening to lyrics and they know where they can go get a gun tonight, it's like, okay, boom, let me go ahead and apply this lyric and go get this gun. If we start to, there has to be like areas where if we're seeing these things happen so often, what are our state leaders doing? And since they want to go ahead and present lyrics, right, as evidence in court,
Mhm.
Yes.
what
Yes.
else are we? Why aren't we stopping the
Be-
access to
mm.
guns? How
Oh
free it
my.
is to get guns, and then you're allowing.
Mm.
There are some states that have it where,
Ooh.
Indiana, where you can just walk outside and have your gun and just be free in the
Yeah.
world. That's it.
Yeah.
What one thing I would say real quick, because I know we got to go to break. The one thing that can change, even if they don't change their lyrics, this entire messy social media influencers, people like DJ
Yeah.
Academics, and all these other people who make money off the drama. Right.
Hmm.
There's an entire infrastructure of social media platforms and influencers who make a lot of money off of exploiting the drama, which actually has led to some people being killed. So if we don't strike first at the lyrics, I say we collectively strike first at all these outlets like Daily Loud, all of these outlets that just put out all of the drama that eventually leads to the violence. So I think we should get the guns. Absolutely. I think rappers should change their lyrics. Yeah. But there's a whole mess making industry out there that's also getting people killed. So let's talk about that as well.
Okay.
Absolutely. Especially, that case that's going on here in Atlanta. That's one of the main things that they're using in this case against those people. That's all I can say at this point. If you don't know what I'm talking
Oh,
about, then you should Google it. But they are using their rap lyrics against them, and if you listen to them, it's like sometimes some of these rappers or some of these the street people. I guess I hate saying that.
mm,
Some of the street people, they put whatever they've done in their life, they put it in this music, and sometimes I just think I don't know, it's crazy. I don't know what's the point of just doing that. You're telling on yourself. You're admitting the crimes. Thank you, Roller. You're admitting what you've done, and they're
Mhm.
going to go through and they're going to nitpick every single detail, and that's why this crap is taking so long right now, like it is.
Work that we're doing here is not going to stop when it comes to these type of discussions. It's going to be for us and by us here on this platform when the media is telling us to look the other way. Your support is what helps us move forward. Join patreon.com/like it or not. Help us grow.